everybody, it's me, Zach. This is my dog, Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and I am back again to talk about everybody's favorite Emmy Future Award nominee, the 1,000 Pound Sisters, starring YouTube celebrities Amy and Tammy Slaton and their rambunctious family. And I'm including their family this week because it's like literally heavy on the Slaton family as a whole. We're getting so much, and next week we're gonna get even more. So keep tuning in because we got a lot to talk about. But first, before we get into this week's episode, I do want to share the exciting news that, well, Amy shared it herself, but Amy is expecting with her second child. Again, she is pregnant, and she shared on social media last night being Sunday night. This is getting posted on Tuesday, so she shared that on Sunday night, and she put it, I think, on pretty much all of her social media, Twitter, Instagram. She posted a video. I'll leave it linked down below in the description box if you want to go check out her actual announcement herself. I don't have a lot more to say about it than that, but I am very excited for her. I think that that's lovely. You know, she's talked a lot on the show about how she just is excited to be a mom and has always wanted to be a mom, and she was very excited about Gage's pregnancy and birth, and so I think that good things are going to come for Miss Amy Slaton Halterman in 2022, and I'm very excited for her, and I hope she has a safe and healthy pregnancy. Now, some people did ask me if I thought that meant that, like, since she's sharing it publicly, that meant that it was there's not gonna be a season 3 or something like that. I don't think that that's indicative of that. I think the reasoning people have behind that is like, oh, she's publicly talking about this. This feels like something that they would say for the show. But I'm guessing that it's just like at a point right now that they're not filming probably, because I think they ended filming for this season a few months ago. And they probably aren't gonna pick up filming for any kind of new season until after this one is aired. Or at least I think that's generally how they've done it in the past. So it's probably getting to a point that it's like maybe not super easy for her to hide that she's pregnant. And I would think that maybe TLC would want it to be a little bit more authentic of her like sharing with her fans and stuff on YouTube about it. So I'm gonna guess that that's probably why she probably got the go-ahead to just like announce it publicly to people. But I don't know about that. I don't know, to be honest. I'm just gonna guess though that where they're at in terms of their filming schedule is that by the time that they do start filming, she's probably gonna be pretty pregnant. So if they just hop on and she hasn't said anything on the internet up to this point, people are probably gonna think it's a little weird. So I don't know. I would guess that there will be another season. I don't see any way that there couldn't be. Actually, I think the only thing that would keep them from maybe doing another season is if something happened with Tammy, like losing her life or something. Like, I really think that they're gonna keep going because this is a pretty popular show for TLC. So anyways, let's get into the episode, which is still gonna have a little bit of like outside of what happened on the TV show T, because we do need to talk about a little few things, but the first scene that happens on this week's episode is going to lean into that stuff. So we see Chris and Brittany going over to Tammy's to pick her up because they have another appointment for Chris post weight loss surgery. He said that this has been like a month after his weight loss surgery, so a lot of time has kind of passed since the last episode we saw. And Tammy does want to discuss some of the things regarding harassment that's happened with the BBW King, aka Philip, and she shares that with Chris because she hadn't shared that with him yet. Chris is basically like, listen, sis, like, you need to stop focusing on these people on the internet. You need to stop going on these websites where there are people that are just fetishizing you, that don't care about you as a person and care about you in a relationship. They just care about you as a part of their fetish. And you need to get it together. And Tammy's like, listen, I haven't done any of the stuff that Dr. Smith wanted me to, so this appointment's gonna be awful. So the part I want to talk about, the stuff that's happened offline, is in relation to Tammy saying that the BBW King was harassing her, that she had to bring the police into it and things like that. And the reason I want to bring that up is because some people sent me a article from a website called TV Show showsace.com. I literally never heard of this website before, but people sent it to me, and it's this article that this website did based on an interview or information that they got from a woman who claimed to be Philip, aka the BBW King's baby mama. That was the article's choice of words, not mine, but that's how they referred to this woman throughout the whole article. And basically, this article was this woman coming to them and like trashing Tammy, saying she was lying about the harassment, lying about a lot of stuff related to her relationship with the BBW King, saying that it wasn't really a relationship on his part and that he was just, having a TikTok relationship, whatever the fuck that means. I really have no idea what that means, but that's what she claims, that this was just a TikTok relationship and that he has a family with her and they live together and they're very happy. And while it's possible some of that stuff could be true, a lot of the things that were talked about in the article, I just have a lot of questions about. And this is why I would just say to like folks who are reading and consuming things on the internet and media in general that like being critical of media is important. And I think if you even just look at a few things that this person claims happened, I think that there's enough to be like, if I have questions about this, like maybe I have questions about everything. And again, I've not talked to this person. I have no way of vetting it. I'm just going based on what was in the article. So one of the things that this person said in the article was that the BBW King had no idea that Tammy would, one, be releasing the photos that she took with him on the internet and on her social media in general, but two, on the show. And see, the reason I have a problem with that is that if he didn't want to be shown on the show, they would have blurred his face. You know what I'm saying? Like, TLC had to get some kind of consent. That's the way that media works, especially in a case like this where, like, they are talking about him so much. If he didn't want his face to be shown on TV, then he could have probably not consented to it. And the reason I also believe that to be the case is because in last week's episode, they brought up Joshua, who is the guy that Tammy has had on her social media a lot that Philip was allegedly jealous of, that led to him harassing Tammy. And if you remember, they blurred his face, right? Which leads me to believe he didn't want to be on TV. So I have to believe that Philip definitely knew he was going to be on TV, which is like the first thing that this woman said in this article that was sus to me. The woman also makes a lot of claims about the rehab facility that Tammy was in at the beginning of the season, and she said a lot of stuff about it, but the thing that was sus to me is that she claimed that the rehab facility didn't want TLC filming in it, and that was part of the reason why Tammy left early. I don't know that I believe that because TLC did film it there. TLC did film it there. Like, there could be a lot of things that could be reasons for why Tammy left rehab early. But I certainly don't know that that is one, because they clearly had some kind of agreement, because TLC clearly did film in that space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that I believe that, because they did. And they worked around. The woman said that the concern was that other patients' privacy would be impacted. But it's clear that they were able to do it without other patients being impacted by them filming in that space. So I'm like also a little bit confused about that as a concept. And then she just in general made claims that like this was all one-sided on Tammy's part, that she paid Philip to come make social media posts and things like that. And I just don't get that, because he also put Tammy on his TikTok and his social media at the time. And I also, like, you know, right before this new season aired, I made a whole video about how he was talking about Tammy. And that was very one-sided, because at the time, Tammy was not saying anything about him, right? And he was making posts saying like, oh, I think Tammy's the one. I think Tammy's my soulmate, whoever, whatever. So I don't know that this woman is really an authority on what was happening. The article claims that at the very end of it, it's like, now you have Philip's side. And it's like, do we have Philip's side? Because y'all didn't interview Philip. You interviewed a woman claiming to be his baby mama. That's who you interviewed. So we have the baby mama's side of this. So I don't know. I feel like that is all a lot, and we have a lot to talk about just in this episode, but I felt like it was important to address, especially because people are like, I don't believe that Tammy was harassed. And like, in general, unless I have evidence otherwise, like, I generally believe women when they say they're being harassed by men. So anyways, just be critical of what you read out there, what you watch, and what you see. I think it's healthy to be critical of everything, okay? Chris, Brittany, Tammy get in a car, and we'll come back to that later because we then jump over to meeting Amanda, their middle sister, for the first time, because Amy heads over to Amanda's house. They're going to make some smoothies together, and they're going to start talking about plans they have for the family. We learn a lot about Amanda. This is like them introducing us to her for the first time, so there's like a lot of backstory about Amanda. We find out that she had gastric bypass herself once upon a time, and she tells them a little bit about like what her role in the family is in terms of, she says she's mouthy and blunt and sarcastic, and that a lot of times like her family members come to her when they want to complain about somebody or vent about something. And she also lets us know a little bit about how she was the best thing to come from Mama Slayton.
I am the middle sibling. So it goes Misty, Chris, Amanda, Tammy, and Amy. Basically, when my mom had my big brother, my big sister, she was just testing them. And then I come along with all my glory. Then the mold got broke with Tammy and Amy. So, I mean, this was my mom at her finest when she had me.
And in general, I do kind of wonder what happened with Tammy and Amy, because for all intents and purposes, the other three siblings do seem a little bit more like well-adjusted to life and like participating in life. So I'm curious what happened, just because, I mean, I guess, you know, we've heard a lot about Tammy and Amy and the things that they experienced growing up. And I'm wondering if they were the only siblings that really experienced some of those hardships or what happened. But also, like, I guess I shouldn't pry because it's probably not any of my business. So in addition to talking about the BBW King in this scene where Amy gives Amanda a heads up, they also talk about wanting to plan a birthday party for Tammy because Tammy is turning 35, which again is only like 2 years older than me. So that's just wild to me. But Tammy is turning 35 and they want to throw a birthday party for her. They have a suggestion. Amanda has a suggestion of getting some strippers, and Amy claims she already has a stripper at home.
I'd like to go see
I got the stripper in my house.
That's a mental image. Bitch, I don't want that mental image.
So then Amanda's like, well, let's get drag queens. You know, Tammy's pansexual. Let's get her hooked up with the LGBTQIA plus community, and let's get her some drag queens for her birthday. And I was like, oh my God, yes, this is everything. These are my interests converging. I was actually even excited because they brought up going to a bar in Evansville, and I used to live in Indiana for 2 years. I lived in Bloomington where I went to grad school. I was kind of like, oh my God, what if one of the Indiana queens I know is on the show? I didn't recognize any of them, but the Indiana queens used to like basically all go to the same bars and travel across the state because, listen, the gay bars in Indiana are few and far between. So then after they talk about the birthday plans, they also talk about planning a family vacation, and they think that might encourage Tammy to lose weight somehow. I'm not really sure how that's gonna encourage her or not, but like, I don't know. I guess you've tried everything at this point, so you may as well throw that out there as well. And Amy very eloquently reminds us that we're not all promised tomorrow.
You know, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, people. So live for the day. Look, I'm getting philosophical up in here.
So the next thing we see is Tammy and Chris actually going to see Dr. Smith once again, and Tammy has to walk on her own into the doctor's office without a wheelchair or anything because Chris is still recovering from surgery, so it's not good for him to lift or push heavy things. And I do just like hope that she can see moments like that where she's forced to have to do those things and realize that she can do those things sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So Chris has his weigh in. He was 408 before the surgery started, and at this weigh-in he is 383.5 pounds, which is about a 25-pound weight loss in just a month, which is great and amazing. And he, you know, talks to the doctor about like what he needs to do moving forward. Nothing super interesting. Basically, he just needs to keep active and eat the right things. And Tammy has to go into the doctor's office, and she's super nervous, even says that her stomach hurts a little bit. Chris says, listen, it's probably just your nerves because you know your ass didn't do what you were supposed to do. And Tammy weighs in, and she's at 649.5 pounds, which is 10 pounds more than she was the last time she weighed in at Dr. Smith's office. And Tammy does typical Tammy stuff. She shuts down when Dr. Smith is asking her all these questions. He's like, well, why didn't you do what you were supposed to do? And she's like, I couldn't remember to do it, which, how do you not remember? Like, what are you doing all day that you can't remember to, like, log the food you're eating, log the steps you're taking? And so he asked her why she couldn't remember to do it, and she said it wasn't a priority, which I think she's made pretty clear at this point that losing weight, getting better, being healthier is not a priority for Tammy Slayton. He also brings up therapy again, and she mentions that she went to the one appointment, and then the second appointment was supposed to be a Zoom call, but she couldn't get good internet service in her home, and because of that, it didn't work out. Like, it just didn't, like, she never followed up. She never tried to make another, it just didn't work out. Which I think the internet thing is a little bit sus. Like, I could see that. I mean, she is in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, for the most part. But also, like, still finds internet service to do all these other things, you know? Like, post TikToks, watch things, I assume. I'm sure she's watching some Netflix, some YouTube, some whoever, whatever. And so that was a little bit of a, like, shit's not adding up moment. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she really was having internet issues. But then Dr. Smith is like, well, why didn't you follow up with me? Like, why didn't you tell me you were having these problems? I could have tried to help you out. Which I think is, like, really just, like, the biggest piece here is that Tammy wasn't really trying to solve any of these problems. It wasn't a priority for her to do. Dr. Smith is pretty clearly annoyed, and so is Chris. And Chris even brings up the men that Tammy's been interacting with on the internet.
She needs to focus on herself and not worried about relationships right now. Especially the people she's meeting online that have fetishes for big women.
And did you all see the daggers she was shooting, Chris? Daggers. She was pissed. But it basically ends by Dr. Smith saying, listen, Tammy girl, don't come back until you've at least attempted something. Because this is a waste of my time, your time, gas money, energy, fossil fuels. So don't come back until you've actually tried. So they leave. They leave, and we'll see if Tammy ever actually goes back. So once Tammy is back at home, Amy comes over with Gage to get Gage a little snack or something. I don't know. I don't know what the premise of them being together. It apparently is so that Tammy could feed Gage a snack. I'm not sure. But this scene does give us the little bit shot of the week. And it's this photo of Gage literally laying on the floor, and little bits right there. There's a bottle of Fabuloso. You know, it's just totally normal things. And little bit looks cute, so that's all that matters to me. Quite truly. Amy also lets Tammy know that they will be taking Tammy to a drag brunch to get lit on mimosas.
Me and Tammy are gonna go have brunch with some drag queens, and we about to get lit on some mimosas, bitch. What's a mimosa?
What? Amy is just so funny. I love when she doesn't know what a thing is. And also mimosas are great. Mimosas are great for a gay drag brunch. But I do appreciate once again that they are like taking Tammy to be around other gay people, other queer people. I love that. I think Tammy's probably had a pretty isolated life, as you can imagine, and I do think it's probably helpful to be out and about and around other people who have similar identities to you. During this scene, Chris also brings over a birthday present for Tammy because he and Brittany can't go to the drag brunch, and it's a face mask and some body spray. I'm glad we're getting real creative over here. Hope it's that Bath & Body Works or whoever, whatever. And Chris mostly also, I think, comes over for this scene just so that he can let them know that he got the time off from work to go on the family vacation, which is very exciting. And we can't wait, and I'm excited. I actually am pretty excited that they get to spend time together as a family. Like, I probably haven't gone on a family vacation with my family since I was in, like, high school or something. So I'm sure that is some, like, very exciting news for all of them to get to spend time together like that again. You know what I'm saying? And they also talk a lot about how, like, growing up, they didn't get to do stuff like that because they didn't have the money to do it. So I'm very excited for them. That's going to be coming up still, mostly next week, it looks like. So that is actually, I think, where a lot of the excitement's going to come. Oh, and they're going to Gatlinburg, which is, I think, everybody that lives in that area's favorite place to go on vacations. I went to Gatlinburg while I was in grad school when I lived in Indiana. It's quite the place, quite the place. Quite the place. That's really all I got to say about it. They also showed an old family photo of the 5 siblings, and I almost, like, truly didn't even recognize them all. Like, I don't know. For me personally, like, Amy and Misty look the least recognizable. I can obviously figure out who Tammy is, and the other two look about kind of the same. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this is, like, quite the photo. And TLC, I don't know, I haven't really ever commented on it before, but TLC on this show has quite the way of showing the most concerning clips of Gage in these shows and these episodes. In particular, there's this one where he's, like, playing with a trash can.
I'm just excited to show my baby Tennessee.
Oh no, so do what you will with that. And then, of course, this scene also gives us a clip of Amy farting, and I love my fart queen.
Amy!
Can't take your ass nowhere.
That was her bear. Amy let her bear out.
So the next scene is Tammy's 35th birthday, and I'm so excited for her. It looked like a good time. She had some friends show up. I think she referred to them as Rob and Ralph. These are the folks that were also in the TikTok videos of her, like, taking shots and whoever, whatever, and trying the mustard watermelon, whatever. I showed it in last week's episode. If you didn't catch that, that clip is there. But we now have names for them, Rob and Ralph, and they're here at the drag brunch. And honestly, Amy gets this real delicious looking cereal milkshake adult premium beverage situation, and it really does look good. But you know, Tammy's got to tell her, because Tammy is the queen of giving everybody else advice on what they should or shouldn't be eating except herself. And Tammy's like, you shouldn't be eating that. That's straight sugar. Amy's like, I don't care. I'm just here to have fun. This is one of the only times I've been husband free and child free. I'm gonna have a good time. And we get lots of great drunk footage from Amy.
I'm drunk. Hello, how you doing? Do you like the drink, Amy?
You need to chill. You're already playing.
I'm good, bitch.
Yeah, hey, you
I'm
talking
good.
about, look.
I don't remember what all I drunk. I had a peanut butter something, then I had a crunchy something, plus I was sipping everybody else's drink, plus I had 2 Von Viages, what is it, Aloha's, whatever.
But yeah, it looked like a good time. They had these drag queens out here lip syncing to royalty-free music, and that, honestly, truly, that's a professional. That's a professional. If they say, listen, I will learn this royalty-free music or whatever this not actual famous pop song is and perform it for your show so I hope they got paid, so I can get paid for this gig, then I will do it. That's a professional. Very impressed. I'm gonna have to go look up these queens. I'm gonna have to go try to find them on the internet and follow them. And then we got, like, a very tender moment from Amanda, and she talks a little bit about, like, how they just are happy to be celebrating another year for Tammy being alive, because a few years ago there was a moment where Tammy was in the ICU and the doctors were saying that they were going to have to set up a funeral for her. And if you don't know your whole entire Amy and Tammy Slayton lore, back then was when Amy got involved in a big, like, GoFundMe scandal. People were saying that she was scamming people with GoFundMe because she set up a GoFundMe to pay for funeral expenses for Tammy, but then obviously Tammy didn't die, and then she spent that money on, like, paying other bills and stuff like that. And at the time, people were very upset with Amy over that. But yeah, it seems like in general they're just grateful to have another year with Tammy, and that they hope that this year she will change some stuff up. So then the whole episode ends with them heading out to go on vacation. We get to see them packing up the cars, the trailers. They packed up this whole trailer that Michael was hauling behind him and his vehicle. They packed up this whole trailer with suitcases and stuff, and it did not look securely packed. I was just really worried something was gonna fly out because it just was all sitting there all loosely, and I don't know, that it just made me a little nervous. It made me a little anxious. But they have one car and it's got literally Chris, Brittany, Amanda, Misty, and Tammy. And Tammy's just sitting there vibing with these big old glasses and burping.
Misty, you got any leg room back here? I can scoot this chair back just I'm good.
And they also talk about bologna salad, which if y'all don't remember, I tried some bologna salad after I reacted to Simply Sarah making bologna salad on my channel. And bologna salad is something. It's something. But they did talk about having bologna salad and how much they love bologna salad. And I love that for everybody. It actually wasn't that bad. It was just like really salty, but it could have been worse. It's not the worst thing to eat. And so that car talks a lot about how they were the fun car, and then immediately after TLC switches to Amy and Michael's car where Amy's just talking baby talk to Gage.
Amy's boring.
Da da da. Da da. You say da da.
And at this point, I was wondering, like, why? They clearly have plenty of room in Amy and Michael's car for at least one of the sisters to come ride with them, like Misty or Amanda. Like, one of them could easily have ridden with Amy and Michael and Gage. So I was just like, that's really, really sus. But then they start doing this time lapse of all the time that's passing. So 2 hours in, something happens with Michael's car that they gotta fix. An hour after that, they're talking about how they're getting hungry and they don't know what they're gonna do for dinner. And then 3 more hours pass and Amanda and Tammy are fighting in the car.
Chill the hell out.
Well, something's messing
Shut
up.
up.
No, you shut the up.
Oh, I'm glad we're almost here.
It was not calling her.
I'm bothering
like
you.
a damn diva. You bothered me too, but I ain't bitching at you.
And that's when I realized TLC knew what they were doing. They said, y'all are gonna squeeze into this van with Tammy because it's gonna be a real small space with lots of people. The tensions are gonna rise and we wanna see y'all get mad at each other. We need good television, so we're gonna produce the shit out of this by putting y'all in one space together to try to get y'all to fight. And I don't know that it really, really played out in the way that they wanted to, at least on the way there. I really don't think like they got into the fights that maybe TLC was hoping would happen. But I do think it eventually led to Tammy being real annoyed and tired and irritated, which I do think is gonna cause some sparks to fly in a bit. So they finally get to their Lapture Luxury.
This is like the Lapture Luxury.
Tammy has to go up this little ramp thing that they brought, which is interesting because Chris did say that the cabin was supposed to be handicap accessible, but like they had to bring their own ramp, so I'm not sure that it really was all that accessible. I don't know. Maybe that was just the easiest place to get Tammy in and out at, so they brought their own ramp for that. I'm not sure. But Tammy started getting real frustrated that she had to do stuff, says she wants to go home, she's too afraid, blah, 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 blah. And that's where the episode ends. But the previews for next week, y'all, look explosive. It looks like there's gonna be so much happening in just the one episode. I hope I have time to cover it all. I will have time, but I hope I have time to cover it all because, wow, it looks wild next week, y'all. Wild, and I can't wait. So make sure to tune in for that because I'm ready, and I hope y'all are ready too. I mean, I don't like to see anybody fight, but I do kind of like the drama. So I'm ready. I'm ready. Anyways, I think that's all I have for today. Once again, congratulations to Amy and Michael. I'm so excited to hear about your new pregnancy. I hope everything goes well and that you have a safe and healthy birth and everything like that. And also thank you all so much for watching. If this is your first video, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every time I post a new video. Let me know your thoughts on the episode down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Hit like, click share, all of that fun stuff. Follow me on all my social media. Check out my merch down below. And I will see you all next time. Bye!